Good evening and welcome to this webinar session hosted this evening from Greenworld Group. For those of you who have just tuned in for the first time, I would briefly take you about what Greenworld as a company is and what is it that we do. We go by the name of Greenworld Safety and Security Consultancies LLC, based out of UAE, and we've got our offices in India in most of the 4 metro cities and in Saudi Arabia primarily. 2020 has been a bit of a challenging year for most of us, due to which we had to sort of downsize, so to speak. But that was only to make sure that we were able to sustain and move ahead. And if we are here, I would be safe when I say that we managed to sail the tide, and we're just continuing on what our core bread and butter is, which is health and safety training. So this is where Greenworld started off back in 2006 as just to deliver health and safety training courses. We've then diversified into ISO, site preparation and certification. We do a bit of consultancy for corporate companies. We do basic fire services and fire training. So what you're going to see today is at a totally different level. This is the reason why I've got the expert Mrs.Jayasree on today. And then we also carry out a few industry-specific HSE project management. That's done by another team of my colleagues. And this way, we try to make sure that we are there, just so that the culture of occupational safety stays, in everyday work. So having said that, we have currently trained about 77 different nationalities across 195 countries. Now, this 195 countries, the outreach has been possible definitely because of the technology that we have today. We use various technologies, and obviously over the last couple of months, we've just tried to refine ourselves. We've improved to see how we can reach out to learners, even in remote areas. And this has probably been the new norm, and this is the way we are going to sort of move further in terms of training. Some of the world's best universities and vocational colleges, vocational institutes, and even schools have now resorted to adopting virtual training. This is where most of our primarily based health and safety courses are being delivered. As you can see on your screens, there are a few logos that you're quite familiar with. We are accredited with all these organizations. NEBOSH and IOSH have been our bread and butter. We are a gold certified partner with NEBOSH. We're also associated with the IASP, which is in the US, then the CPD certified certification service in the UK, and a whole lot more. And what you see just below is the regulatory authorities that we are associated with. This includes from Dubai Municipality, the Civil Defense, the TVTC in Saudi Arabia, and a lot more. So we could only just barely put in what we could, which we felt was essential. Obviously, there are a whole lot more that we are associated with. Our training expertise in numbers, as you can see, this is these statistics are from at least 2 months old, so I haven't updated them, to be honest. But just to give you an idea of what we have done so far in terms of training delivery, we've and what interests me more is to tell you that we've reached 9.5 million man hours in delivering training. So you can rest assured that we have been trying to be the experts, at least in what we do. We try to diversify and see what are the new technologies that can be adopted in terms of training delivery, and that's how a premier organization should always try and see how they can move ahead to try and find a foothold in this sort of a niche market. Right. Sorry. So that's just about it from me. Let me just take some time to introduce our speaker once again for this evening. She is Mrs. Jayasree Radharavi. She is an NFPA certified fire protection specialist, which is what we're going to talk about into detail today. And with that, I shall just hand over the reins briefly to her. She would run through the session for this evening, and I shall come back to you at the very end. Thank you for tuning in once again. Jayasree, all yours.
Welcome to today's webinar. As you know, the topic for today is NFPA CFPS exam preparation. I briefed you about what is CFPS. We have seen the eligibility requirements. We have seen how you can, maintain your credential once you have come out certified, and what is this exam about. Okay, so how you can prepare? To prepare, you can prepare yourself, or you can go for some preparation courses. Because we are all working professionals. I know most of the people, what happens is like this is a vast variety of topics you have to go through before you attempt for the exam. So as a working professional, we will plan, and maybe we will take one day, we will take for reading and starting the preparation, and then after one or two page or one chapter, you will be stuck, and maybe because of work pressure and personal issues, after some time, after a few days or weeks, you are again taking, you will be again stuck at the same chapter, and it will go on. So if you go for a course, what will be the benefit? The most of the courses, there are different institutes providing the courses like this, and you are already knowing that. And I also used to get some inquiries through LinkedIn and all. Are you conducting a course, or how can you help me? So that for such participants, I am explaining this, giving an outline or an overview of what preparation course is, and what is the objective, to take you through this CFPS journey, because it should be called as a journey, because it's a journey to till you reach the certification point. So the course objective is to provide a detailed insight of CFPS knowledge domains to gain the knowledge of fire and fire science. This is some of the topics, the core topics I just listed, but we will go through all the knowledge domains, and we will give more weightage to the topics which have more weightage for the examination. See, some topics 20% weightage for the examination. So we will invest, or we will concentrate more by focusing more, and by taking more time in understanding those topics. That's how this course we take. Awareness of hazards and fire prevention protection strategies associated with various equipment, process, facilities, insight into how to design and manage ignition prevention or to slow early fire growth, knowledge of detection and alarm, diverse fire suppression system, overview of fire risk analysis, fire incident data, fire investigation, understanding on confinement of fire, egress design, occupant evacuation strategies. See, different types of evacuation is there: total evacuation, phased evacuation, or a shelter in place, or defend in place. So all those, what you need to consider in terms of design, or an overview of emergency and non-emergency functions of fire department. And finally, of course, because this is a certification exam, and our objective is to come out successful from this examination. So we will spend time, we will take some time to review the questions, and try to answer it, and practice the questions, so that you can with the confidence pass the exam. So that is the objective of the course. And this is the course outline. Now with the Green World Group, we are planning to provide you the CFPS aspirants who are looking to have a to undergo a course for this CFPS exam preparation. So most of the institutes are providing a 40 hours class preparation course. Even I have conducted for many batches. But I feel like 40 hours is too less to go through this wide variety of topics, processes, facilities, and finally to give you a practice session. So this time it is we are coming up with a 20 days 50 hours course, preparation course. So this is the planning for each day. And for working professionals, see, mostly the institutes who provide 40 hours. Before, I also used to do like that. With the 40 hours means it will be finished in 8 days or 5 days. If we are going with the 5 days, it will be an 8 hours class. If we are going with 8 days, it will be a 5 hours class. But for this 5 hours for working professionals, in a day, that means you can only, take your holiday or a weekend or a Friday here in UAE. And maybe for some people, it will feel like it will be really difficult to digest all the information altogether at a time. And it will run into months, maybe, 5 hours, 8 days means 1 week, 1 day per, a week means it will run into 2 months. And then people will not be getting that, contact or that exposure with the topics. Because only 1 day they are attending the class, and they will forget, and they will think like, this is quite a huge subject, and I will prepare, and they will just keep it on and dragging, and maybe finally they will not write the exam, or maybe after 1 or 2 years they will go for the exam. So this is how with the many candidates request. Now this time we are planning with the every day, maybe 2 to 2.5 hours, so that 50 hours we will fit in 20 days. That's how this course is developed or planned now. This is for your information if any of you are looking for that. Okay. And in this course, in this exam preparation course, what is the methodology, how we deliver the course? It is by presentation and lectures, mainly focused on the CFPS knowledge domains or NFPA FPH, NFPA Fire Protection Handbook sections. I told you there are 21 sections, and this 12 knowledge domains for the CFPS I have introduced you before. That is from this 20 or 21 FP sections in 2 volumes of the NFPA Fire Protection Handbook. So that presentation and lectures will be oriented on the subjects of these 12 domains and NFPA FPH sections. And we will give more priority and focus on high weightage or more weightage topics for the examination. And the core topics will be supplemented with related videos of real scenarios. Interactive live training sessions that will be, it will not be any recorded lectures, interactive online sessions or the classroom sessions. That's what we are planning. And of course, we will, find 2 days, at least 2 or 3 days for the questions practice and for the mock exam for you to, come up answering fast in order to, come out successful from the examination. Yes, questions practice session and mock exam. And after each domain or after each topic, we will practice some questions or some sample questions after each domain as well. That is different. So for the audience here, you are not familiar with the NFPA handbook. I am just displaying here the contents. See, section 1, safety in the built environment. This is exactly matching with the knowledge domain, safety in the built environment, what is published by NFPA. Section 2, basics of fire and fire science, information and analysis for fire protection, that is carrying 5% weightage, human factors in emergencies, fire and life safety education, storage and handling of materials. Even for storage and handling of, there are multiple chapters, like 5 chapters, solid fuels, flammable and combustible liquids. For the NFPA code, in this chapter, it will give a cross-reference to NFPA code, NFPA standard, NFPA 30, flammable and combustible liquids code is NFPA 30. Or NFPA 58 LPG code, those references will be provided in specific chapters. See, storage of gases, NFPA 55 will be a cross-reference there. Storage and handling of chemicals, different chemicals, depending on the chemical properties, hazardous properties, reactive properties, toxic properties, flammability properties, everything NFPA, that the diamond, fire hazard labeling, everything is here. You see, hazardous work control, what all you need to be aware of. Characteristics of materials and products, different materials for each, each chapter is dedicated to different materials. Fire hazards of materials, that is a general one. Then combustion products and their effects on life safety. See, in most of the fires, casualties or emergencies or, the fatalities happen not due to, immediately they are, burnt. Mostly due to the, toxic products, they are getting suffocated and they are not able to move, and light obscuration, they're obscuring the vision. So that's how they are trapped inside and they are getting, affected by the fire. It's not always directly by the fire they are getting burnt. So those kind of aspects, information, it will be clear here, referring to different actual fire incidents or across the world, and different survey results, data, statistics. See the different fire testing methods, wood and wood-based products, fibers, textiles, upholstered furniture and mattresses. See, before wood furniture were there, but wood furniture, it is not that easily propagating flame or not easily spreading the fire. But nowadays, with the technology development, different synthetic materials, furnitures or furnishings that are immediately, spreading the fire. So those kind of properties. Uh, then fire retardant and flame resistant treatment materials, dust. See, in which all industries, dust can be a problem. Dust can, present fire and explosion hazards, deflagration, detonation, explosion. Then metals, different kinds of metals, its properties, its reactivity, what kind of fire extinguishing you can provide, gases, medical gases, especially in healthcare facilities, what all you need to do, how you can pipe or how you can, configure different medical gases arrangements in healthcare facilities. All those details are here. Polymeric materials, properties. I'm just highlighting a few special equipment like air moving equipment, chemical processing equipment, material handling equipment, different conveyors, elevators. What are the hazards in that? What all you need to take care. Laser associated with the laser, what all the hazards and what you can, as a fire protection specialist, what you need to know. I see fluid movement systems, refrigeration system, building services associated with the building services, what all you need to know. Different types of processes and facilities, storage and handling of grain mill products, hot work or metal working process, plastic industry, dipping, coating, painting, spray coating, woodworking, protection of different records or mining equipment, processes, the hazards associated with that, oxygen enriched atmosphere. See, in an oxygen enriched atmosphere, that will enhance the fire. Oxygen enriched atmosphere means if normal atmosphere, if it is 21%, in oxygen enriched atmosphere, if it is more than 23%, it will be called as an oxygen enriched atmosphere. There, it will accelerate. So what all you need to consider? Fire prevention practices, non-emergency fire department functions, emergency fire department functions, what all apparatus and how fire departments function, what is their preparation strategies, how they are preparing themselves, what are the equipment they are carrying, everything. A detection and alarm, water-based fire suppression, confining fire, structural fire protection, protecting occupancies. So I am winding up here. My presentation is over here.
Right. I really appreciate that, Jayasree. I do understand that it's the first probably time for most of the audience members who have tuned in. So, yes, the concept itself might take a little bit of time to set in. There were a few questions that were asked. I tried best to answer. Some of them you have actually covered. I've seen many of them were asking questions on the minimum experience required. So, maybe I think if it's okay, if you could just bring that slide up. I mean, some of them are confused about what's the minimum requirement for enrolling on to this course, or you mentioned about a minimum requirement of a qualification letter or a letter that is required. That was the common question that I saw in the trail. Some of them have asked about the course fee itself. Yes, we are going to discuss about the course fee soon. It's not yet launched. The purpose of this webinar was to actually get you all to understand what the NFPA CFPS course is all about. It's a pretty long abbreviation, but the purpose was to understand what it was all about. You saw there was a slide where Ms. Jayasree talked about the different sections. I believe it's in 2 volumes, 2 books. They look huge books, and some of them were also asking about what the cost of the book were. You've mentioned that it's around $350 US, I believe. Or is it for the exam?
That is for the exam.
Oh, so
350 USD is for the exam. And
okay,
for the books, actually from NFPA website, you can order, and also you can in UAE. I know some people like NAFCO used to have bulk supply, and
okay,
you can
oh,
check with NAFCO, or maybe you can approach the Green World also, and they can also
right,
help you. Yeah.
right, okay,
So from NFPA, if you see, it's around 300 USD. It's around.
okay, around
Okay, for
300
the,
USD.
yes, I think some 280 or 90, something like that.
Plus the
For the
shipping charges as well.
plus,
So,
yes, because from NFPA, if you are ordering, it should come from US, so the additional
yes,
shipping charges will be there.
charges will be there. Correct,
Yes.
correct.
Regarding the eligibility, I already covered. If you have
Hmm.
a engineering degree, or if you have a degree in fire protection related subject, with 2 years of experience in fire and safety related field,
Hmm.
you are eligible to go for the certification.
Right,
And if you
right,
do not have that, if you have a BSc degree or any other bachelor degree, and or in fire protection, if you have only a associate degree, you will have
hmm.
to have a 4 years verifiable work experience. Means you should be able to demonstrate. You should be having the proof of that, because NFPA reserves the right to audit your
Correct.
documents, or your validate your experience by contacting your employer and all.
Right.
So that's how it is.
That's
And if
the
you do not have this also, maybe your experience is the core strength you have, with a high school diploma only as an education background. You should have a 6 years of experience in the field to gain
right,
sufficient knowledge and exposure to
right.
get that level of knowledge what NFPA expects for a CFPS holder.
Correct. I think that's a very interesting point, because especially the last category you mentioned, which is even if you're a high school diploma holder or a basic
Or any diploma,
qualification
or yes,
diploma,
yes.
yes, minimum
Yes, if,
requirement
if you
is
do not have a degree, yes,
correct.
at least
Correct.
if you have a high school diploma or any other diploma, even if you
Yeah.
do not have a degree,
Right.
and you feel that you are competent because you have a 6 years of work experience minimum,
Yeah.
then
That
NFP accepts that. Okay.
they are eligible as well. Perfect,
Yes,
perfect.
yes, yes.
Any which is that's a good bit of information. That's most of the common questions that was being asked in the Q&A section. I know it's a little difficult to type out, so I just picked up some of the common questions which I could once again ask, and you just refresh. So for the audience that have been a part of this webinar, look, definitely a recording of this webinar will be put up on our web pages. So if you have just joined us somewhere in the middle, or if you feel you've missed a part of it, you will be able to rerun this webinar as a video. It will be there on our pages, right? And Ms. Jayasree, as we said, she's very much based out of UAE. And yes, we do hope to launch this course. Obviously, we need technical expertise like Ms. Jayasree to take it forward. It's still in the planning stage at the moment. We will communicate once we have finalized on what the dates are, and on how we intend to roll it out. As you could see, she also presented the screen how they plan to do the course in 2.5 hours each, and that would be approximately 50 hours. Why we have thought about 50 hours is for definitely a good reason, because the course itself, the preparation course itself, is not something like your average NEBOSH course or your, the IOSH course, because each of these courses from different awarding bodies has its own, mandatory requirement of study hours. NFPA is slightly different. I mean, the CFPS course. This completely depends on how you, sort of navigate around those 2 volumes of books, because that's what she had mentioned. It's an open book exam. So the course itself takes you around how you are going to, sort of find out. The questions itself are a bit. I know it's a sort of combination of objective-based answering, but the answers itself might look similar. But which is the right answer, and how do you refer it from the book? That's exactly what the course is going to be. The prep course is going to talk about, right? So there's a lot to it. Yeah. So the number that you see on your screen, this is our WhatsApp corporate number. You can post your queries in regards to the webinar, or any queries you have in regards to NFPA. We will be directing it to Ms. Jayasree as well. There's an email address that you see on your screens, that is webinars@greenworldsafety.com. please put in your queries. We normally endeavor to answer the queries if it's within our expertise, but if there are questions that are related, like I said, towards a course which is still in the planning stage, we would make sure that we would respond back once the details are ready and available, right? So we hope to do it as soon as possible. We're just trying to make sure that all the ancillary requirements are being met, and we should be able to roll it out. With that, I'd like to thank you all once again for joining us this evening on this webinar. Once again, thank you so much, Ms. Jayasree, for sparing the time for us. It's always a pleasure to get something new on board. And this idea of NFPA, when you first met us at our office, was something which has got us thinking. And we have to think out of the box. We have to look at the next way forward. So we hope to make this into a reality for at least the audience and the learners there. Thank you so much for this evening. Please stay safe and enjoy the rest of the week.
Yes, thank you all of you for attending this session. I hope it helped you at least a little bit to understand what is this all about, and especially who are trying to prepare for this. I hope it have helped you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll leave this screen on for just another 2 minutes if learners would like to take the contact details, and then we'll be in touch. We would just be ending the session in less than 2 minutes. I would be just bringing off the camera and the microphone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jayasree, once again. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, all of you.